Kindly make sure to download the Zingo TV app on the app stores of iOS and Android. When you download, make sure to rate and leave a comment. Both apps are free. And lastly, Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and all smart TVs 2016 and forward. Ryan, what made you laugh? Was it the fact that I used the word forthwith?
Indubitably.
Nice. You know what it is? Have you ever noticed this? If you ever watched the show Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck and Donnie Wahlberg, they use that word at least 4 times an episode. They figure out a way to just pigeonhole the word forthwith into everything.
Is it a Boston thing?
I don't know. Well, see, I think Tom Selleck's from like Arizona or something. But it's
but then you got a Wahlberg in there, so I've got to think like that's like their thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but they find a way. It's like, we need to handle this forthwith. And it's like, who uses the word forthwith?
I don't know. Who's the writers on the show?
I don't know, but they've been at it for 12 years now. Dude,
must be a local dialect. And
original,
it's like, whenever you do something and you have a Jersey writer and like somehow or another there's like, get out of here or something like that. Or,
yeah, forget about it.
It's just in the writer's vernacular.
Basically, yeah. So anyway, we got a couple things coming up over the weekend right here. We have Avatar: The Way of Water, which we'll probably put a couple minutes into. We also at the same time have Hanukkah. Mazel tov to all Jews, wannabe Jews, or even part Jews.
Shabbat shalom.
Yeah, Shabbat shalom, Toda Rabbah, if you are. And we're going to be talking about the breathtakingly low supply of Hanukkah movies, despite the fact that about 4.5% of the population roughly identifies in some facet or form as Jewish or have lineage.
The fact of the matter is we basically found a list of the 15 top Hanukkah movies that you can watch during the holidays, and it's from Good Housekeeping.
Yeah, because, that bastion of basically all things quality when it comes to,
It's like, you would hope that, like, other media outlets, other movie-faceted outlets would be, like, they would have a whole slew of different ones, but it's shocking just how few there are in supply. And some of these movies aren't necessarily, like, even Hanukkah-oriented. They're just heavily oriented in Jewish heritage, that, like a Fiddler on the Roof sort of thing. And it's like, wow, there really should be more.
Dude, I went through a list before and I was pulling up images, and it had a movie in there with David DeLuise, Dom DeLuise's kid from, I think it was 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
And it was called Switch Miss. And I thought, okay, you get a Christmas movie, Dom DeLuise's kid. I don't think he was Jewish. So I'm reading the synopsis on it. It's about a Jewish kid that wants to celebrate Christmas. And I thought, okay, it's considered a Hanukkah movie by their description.
Yeah, it's called the Kyle Broflovsky story from South Park.
Dude, really? So anyway, like I said, Hanukkah's coming up this weekend. So we're going to break down a few of these movies. If we get the time, basically, we're going to talk a little bit of Spider-Man, Spider-Verse, the new trailer.
I actually wanted to do that at the top of the hour, but considering Davion isn't here, it's like I don't want to ice him out.
And also, we have to give a massive shout out to someone who just celebrated 40 years. Shockingly, but we'll get into that one a little bit later as well. But first,
real quick, I do want to do one other shout out on top of that, just for the fans of the show that are always here every so often. Our boy Tyler is celebrating his birthday.
Cool.
This week. It was yesterday, so unfortunately we are a day late and $1 short. But as one of the loyal followers of Tales from the Film Set and from anything that we do here at Streampunk, happy birthday, Tyler. Hopefully you went and saw yourself as a good horror movie. I do recommend Violent Night. I saw that last week. It was very enjoyable. Okay. If you don't have time for that, the menu is also pretty good too. I feel like the menu is maybe more of a Thanksgiving movie just because of all the food. But timing-wise, you get what you get.
By the way, that's a holiday that has a shockingly low amount of holiday movies. You got Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and that one Charlie Brown special.
Oh, don't forget Thanksgiving with the demonic turkey that kills everybody. That's a puppet.
That is true, yes.
There's 2 movies in that saga, even though the second one is called Thanksgiving 3. They just gloss over the second one.
So it's like Naked Gun 2.5 and 33 1/3.
Except there is no 2. It just goes from the first one, and then they mess up the title with the third one. Like,
you got Chucky pajamas.
Why am I not surprised by that? Tyler loves
I love
Chucky. He likes all things of a horror nature, but I'm not surprised by the Chucky pajamas. Now, wait. Is it that it has Chucky all over the pajamas, or is it that the pajamas are actually done up like the good guy outfit with the overalls and the striped shirt and everything? Which kind of pajamas are we talking here? Because I kind of feel like the second one a little bit cooler.
You know, it's funny. While we're waiting for that answer there, you look at Brad Dourif, who was the voice of Chucky through pretty much every iteration, aside from like the remake with Mark Hamill.
Right.
And you look at his huge career outside of that. I mean, he was Wormtongue. He was on Law and Order. He has a very wide array of accredited stuff that he's done. And it's like, that guy's Chucky, really? Him and Jennifer Tilly?
It goes, and he's from Jersey. We just found out
Yes.
from the television series.
Yeah, he looked from
Chucky
Baskin's
is a
Ridge or
Jersey
Morristown, one of them,
original.
you know.
So I mean, we corner the market on a lot of things, man. People don't recognize.
Dude, you know what? The way I describe Jersey, especially a lot of times when I'm talking to New Yorkers who kind of think, oh, Jersey, it's like, dude, this is Bruce Springsteen and Queen Latifah territory, okay? Don't mess. Don't mess. And as soon as you
Springsteen,
drop
a Jewish boy.
yeah, dude, Bruce Springsteen, Queen Latifah's from Passaic. We can put others in there, Shaq, Jon Stewart, Peter Dinklage, but it's like you drop those two names and it's like it kills every conversation right off the bat.
Yeah.
So
Plus, technically, Whitney Houston.
what's that? Oh, yeah, true. So
I got Chucky's face. Oh, it's the one with Chucky's face
Chucky
on it. Okay.
Yeah, I almost feel like Pixar didn't have from the third one. Okay. That was what? Bride of Chucky? Was that the first Jennifer Tilly one?
No. The third one would just be Child's Play 3.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. It's the poster.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, I remember that face. Yeah. Oh yeah, those were some evil eyes on Chucky in that one. That was before his face got all gnarled up, and he was still like the fresh faced doll, but he just had like these red eyes and this blood dripping down, and it's like, ooh, like that was probably him at his creepiest before he really became like Freddy Krueger-esque and started being more punny.
Yeah, when let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, okay, that's a good image. I'll give you that, Tyler. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I still would have gone for the overalls, but that's just me.
Yeah. That's his new pajamas.
Yeah, Santa's gonna love seeing that when he gets to the house, isn't he?
Those eyes, yeah. But
it's probably either that or you do it from like the second poster where he's like taking these like hedge clippers to like a Jack in the Box and he's about ready to cut off at the spring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those were creative posters back then. Now they're just like meh.
Yeah, well, it's funny. One of the films that's in the list that we're going to be talking about is, Anthony Mackie went off the other day talking about the fact that Anthony Mackie's not a star; the Falcon is a star. And interestingly enough, he was in one of the films that's on this list, right in the middle there, the night before.
Yes.
So, and it was interesting because he came out with that. He also came out where Quentin Tarantino said something similar there. But okay, Charles played T-shirt. I'm noticing a theme with his birthday right here. Have you noticed that?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Really prepping for the holiday coming up.
Dude, you know what? It's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Ramadan. And by the way, this is the one time a year that I can say that phrase. So, but anyway, let's break down this list here. One Jewish movie everybody knows right off the bat, obviously, is Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights. If you had to pick one Jewish movie for Hanukkah, it's like, oh yeah, didn't Adam Sandler do an animated one? That one.
Yeah, and as much as I like Adam Sandler, Lord knows I know enough of his filmography and everything. Not exactly the most family friendly, I would say. It definitely veers a little bit more towards adolescent adult humor, crude humor, kind of Adam Sandler during his prime when he thought, okay, all I'd have to do is make some funny voices and some jokes
and burp on it. He had that one long burp in that one scene. Too.
Yeah. Like this was back when Sandler was still seeing himself as the butt of all the jokes instead of being like the head guy that all the jokes happen around. No, this was when everything still happened to him, which it does have some charm to it. Lord knows it takes his musical prowess and does it up as best as you can with an animated film done by him, which as somebody who actually owned a lot of his albums and knowing the music that he was able to make and the songs he was able to put on with the skits, there was something refreshing about being able to see a film that had all that. But I can't imagine too many people actually watch this movie and it's like, yes, that's a perfect Hanukkah movie.
It's
It's
not.
yeah, it's like tongue in cheekish Hanukkah ish.
Well,
You know.
it's kind of like basically you listen to Z100. You know, you are, oh, better yet, 106.7. Because right now,
Well, mind you, we're
106.7.
talking about New York, New Jersey based
Yeah, I was just
radio
going to get
stations
into that.
here.
You know, Christine Nagy and whatever his name is, I forget who. This right now, they're in the middle of their 24-hour Christmas, which I won't go into specifics, but some of them have gotten a little tired of, but they have to deal with the paycheck because it's 24 hours of, you know, Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is you know, Rob Thomas and the same 9 songs all 24 hours. And the one Jewish song that they usually play is basically Adam Sandler's, you know, put on your yarmulke.
But which version? Because there's like 4 versions of the song now.
I think this latest one. I can't go into too much more further, otherwise we'll be demonetized.
Okay.
But that whatever that one is the one that he, you know, that they typically play because it's like the one Jewish song. I remember it's funny, and I remember when I was in like chorus in high school. You know, we would do 45 minutes of Christmas songs, and then we would do the same, you know, Hanukkah song, one throw-in Hanukkah song every single year.
Which was what? Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel.
El Yivnei Hagalil, El Yivnei Hagalil, Baruch Yivnei Hagalil, Baruch. So, yeah, to this
Wow,
day,
you're
30
doing better
years
than I could
later,
have
I
imagined.
still have it up here because we sang that one song, that and Hallelujah Chorus were the staples every single time because we had the one Jewish song and we always finished with Hallelujah Chorus.
Yeah, which I have to say, it's surprising when you don't hear a lot of like foreign language holiday songs. I mean, the majority of them are usually done in English. So when you're hearing something that's actually done in the Jewish vernacular, it's like it sounds very important, very solemn, you
Yeah.
know. And then outside of that, Christmas wise, the most you get is either O Tannenbaum or
Mhm.
Feliz Navidad.
It's funny, years ago, if we got my grandfather drunk enough, he would sing O Tannenbaum in German, the entire version. But it required enough alcohol for him to be loose enough to sing. He hated singing, but if you got him drunk enough, he would
Yeah, but
sing O Tannenbaum in the
I'm just saying
traditional
there's got
German.
to be some other versions. You know, there's got to be some more versions out there amongst all the nationalities that are maybe just like a little bit. Nothing against
Hmm.
Feliz Navidad, but Lord knows it is one of the simplest songs to sing.
Well, that's
Like,
Jose Feliciano too.
yeah,
Nobody realized that Jose Feliciano also did the theme song to Chico and the Man. So
God, I forget Chico and the Man.
yeah, that's the one with Freddie Prinze Sr. And also Jack Albertson, who was Grandpa Joe in Charlie and or Willy Wonka.
Too much information. Oh my god, my brain
Dude, I
is
know.
scattering.
I'm just a plethora of useless knowledge. If only I use that powers for good or for for evil.
Oh my god.
Uh,
All
Full
right,
Court
so what do
Miracle.
we have next now?
Based this original Hanukkah movie on the story of Lamont Carr, beloved basketball coach. Based the story, which is usually based. There was a coach. He was Jewish. Let's make a movie. Basketball star sidelined because of a knee injury. He was head coach of Yeshiva's hapless team in Philadelphia. So it's basically Mighty Ducks for Hanukkah.
Right, and I guess full court miracle. I guess because a black guy teaching at a Jewish boys' school. It's like,
That's a little fish out of water, possibly. Yeah.
yeah, but even then, it doesn't really feel like a Hanukkah movie. I mean, yeah, you're getting the miracle in there
Yeah.
at that
Okay.
point,
I mean, I guess
but
maybe it's happening at the holidays, so they can shoehorn it in, so Hallmark Channel will play it. But yeah, it's a little soft in that regard. I don't know who that guy. He looks a little. Is that not JB Smooth? Is it?
no. Hold on, I'll tell you. You
He,
keep that up. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the actual actors because I know he looks familiar. Full court. Richard T. Jones.
Richard T. Jones. Okay, yeah, I've seen that guy. I remember, dude. I remember him from Terminator,
Oh
the
wait,
TV series.
and the kid is Alex D. Linz.
Why do I know that name?
Home Alone 3,
Oh, that kid.
Tarzan.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, I think he was in. Okay, yeah, he was in a bunch of Nicktoons stuff, voicing things during that era.
Okay.
Cable Guy, right?
Okay. Sorry, without even realizing it, I just scrolled to the next one. I just got a brand new lap, which, by the way, if you notice, is running a hell of a lot more smoothly. But I'm still working the kinks out. I just disabled the pinch option. But yes, this is apparently brought to you by Yellowstone, so I'm going to have to skip past that pretty soon. Maybe shouldn't have disabled the pinch. Let's see. A hardworking toy has to learn about Hanukkah fast to seal the deal with a new account. So she reaches out to her coworker's friend who's trying to turn his bachelor pad into a winter wonderland to impress his girlfriend's dad. After initially failing to get along, they realize they need each other's holiday knowledge. Eventually, they learn how much they have in common. And of course, romance ensues. This sounds like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, it looks like a Hallmark movie because most Hallmark movies is just like the two leads in some Christmas winter attire or setup, and that's it.
Yeah.
And not to say that there isn't like, romance during Hanukkah, but I mean, given the plot of this movie, it just seems very.
If you pull Hanukkah out and threw Christmas in, it's literally the same movie. Oh, but you know what? He has a dreidel on his shirt, so therefore it's Jewish.
Yeah, it feels disingenuous, doesn't it?
It feels 100 warned right now. My God.
It's like, put some more respect on the holiday, man. It's like, at least 8 Crazy Nights. It was like full on with what it was trying to represent in the environment of the people and everything. This is just like a toy exec has to learn about Hanukkah.
Yeah.
How many movies are there probably that we have to learn about Hanukkah? Don't people know what Hanukkah is by now?
And presumably this came out clearly when the internet was a thing. So it's a matter of Hanukkah, and then boom, go.
Yeah, it's
So it's kind of funny from that fact that they're just like, oh, it's whoop. Sorry about that. How do I get out of that? Help me. Here, I'm just gonna kill it this way, so I can figure out how to get back to that. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. I got it.
Big zoom.
Like I said, new computer, working on some stuff, figuring stuff out as I go. Okay. There it is. And we're back.
All right.
So that was mistletoe and menorahs. And then, of course, the Hebrew hammer, which, okay, I figured that should be in here. Adam Goldberg, who's made an entire career out of just like, comedy and everything like that. The Hebrew hammer is an Orthodox Jew who goes on a mission to save Hanukkah from Santa's evil son, Damien, who wants to destroy it along with Kwanzaa. I did not hate this movie. It was hokey as hell, but it was actually kind of funny.
This felt like something you probably would have seen from like Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
It had enough tongue-in-cheek humor that it worked. And yeah, I mean, why not? Who was it that he was having like the interaction?
Yes. What's that?
No, not Adam Goldberg. Adam
Goldberg, yeah.
What would you have known him from? Well, I mean, he was in Saving Private Ryan, was he not?
Yes, he was. That was one of his first roles. That was about 5 years before this. But Law and Order: Criminal Intent, Beautiful Mind, Saving Private Ryan, Dazed and Confused, Zodiac, 2 Days in Paris, and he's actually currently one of the main cast on Equalizer now.
Oh, the Queen Latifah version, yes,
with aforementioned Queen Latifah. So, but I remember seeing this movie debuted and premiered the same night that Battlestar Galactica on Sci-Fi Network started. So for us nerds and geeks, the TV ratings were split between both shows in this case.
Oh,
but Battlestar, I think, was better in the long run.
Oh, let me find it. Yes. What year did this come out?
2003. Yeah, 2003. Basically back when Andy Dick was still relevant.
Well, yeah, the fact that you had like that as your villain, it's like, okay, that fits.
I remember Santa was played by Richard Reel, who you may remember from Office Space as the one paranoid guy who was just confident as hell he was going to get fired.
Yes,
and then got hit by a car. That was Santa. That guy was Santa in that movie.
Oh, okay. Judy Greer played the love interest.
Judy Greer was. That's right. Yeah, she was the love interest.
Esther.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, it's like talk dirty, and it was like, I don't touch my mezuzah when I come in the house. It was just like stupid crap like that.
Yeah, but you had like a real who's who of like, actors in there. Plus you had Mario Van Peebles and Melvin
Yes.
Van Peebles in the same movie.
Wasn't he like, like Kwanzaa Claus or something? He was
Mario was, yes.
also in Stay Alive. Okay. Yeah, because I remember that he had to team him up with the guys from Kwanzaa, I think was a part of
Yeah.
it.
Whereas Melvin Van Peebles played Sweetback, which
Yes.
just fits perfectly for Melvin Van Peebles.
Who basically about 8 years prior was the villain in Highlander 3. So, which I actually inexplicably watched the other day.
Yeah, probably the most forgotten of all of the Highlander movies.
The movie that actually tried its best to pretend that Highlander 2 didn't happen.
Right.
And then Highlander 5 came out, which somehow made Highlander 2 better by comparison. Highlander 5 was actually a movie that didn't even get released in theaters or DVD. It went right to Sci-Fi Channel. A movie is doomed when it goes right to Sci-Fi Channel as a premiere.
But
anyway,
yeah, Hebrew Hammer, definitely worth a watch if you want something funny. And it certainly seems more Jewish.
I'm
than this.
aching to
All
go
I
into this
want
movie
is
right
Christmas.
here. I'm aching to go into this Hanukkah movie right here. I'm sorry.
Jeez.
Dude, it's a Hanukkah movie. By the way, this article is an article from Good Housekeeping on the best Hanukkah movies for the season. The list is All I Want is Christmas.
Not all I want for Christmas. All I want
Yeah.
is Christmas.
Yeah, really tapping into our self-hating Jew thing that we got going on. This on his way to disappointingly sunny Florida. Dude, after the snow we had and it wasn't even winter, I'll take Florida right now. Tries to produce holiday dreams by swapping plane tickets with another kid who's on the way to the wintry wonderland in Christmastown, Washington.
And mind you, this came out in 2012. This is only 10 years old.
Oh my God.
You would think that like a premise like this, where it's like, a Jewish kid wants to be a part of Christmas, would be a little bit more dated. No.
Yeah, 5.4 rating on IMDb.
Elliot Gould. Elliot Gould of
and David
all
DeLuise.
actors.
I just mentioned David DeLuise.
David DeLuise is like, iffy. I mean, he's a a Disney adult basically. But I am surprised that Elliot Gould is in this.
Dude, yeah. The long career that guy had. Did he win an Oscar somewhere? Oh no, he was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah. But still, just considering the man was one of the more prominent elder Jewish comedians in Hollywood. I mean, he's pretty much up there with Arkin or Reiner Brooks,
Well, yeah, he was in the original MASH, the movie with Donald Sutherland. Yeah.
So very surprising.
Yeah, but you know what? It's almost like basically when you saw Eugene Levy and like every single American Pie sequel that wasn't involving the original cast. There's like 3 or 4 of those movies too, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, no, there was a lot of straight to videos that just happened to have the one's dad, and yet he didn't. None of the other kids showed up unless it was like a theater feature film.
The one dad and like some random Stifler cousin.
Yeah,
brother,
there's apparently a lot of Stiflers.
Dude,
there's a joke in itself.
Stiflers in that movie. There's like 3 or 4 of those. Okay, I want to point this out, and this is something that I find really fascinating. Before I go too far off topic, this movie was 2010, I think it was. I was on set yesterday with Ben Stiller because right now I'm standing in on season 2 of Severance, and Severance is directed by him, the Apple TV series. It is so weird looking at Ben Stiller now, knowing that he did these Fockers movies and being like, it's so odd to get the same guy there,
I mean,
but anyway, yeah, this was a terrible.
Meet the Parents in itself was like a good idea. But then when they decided to make sequels and they had to visit the other side of the family, and you had Dustin Hoffman playing his dad, and then the kids.
Let me say this. I really, really, really did. I like the second one better than the first one. Let me see if I can hide that. No, I can't. Dang it. I'll have to figure this out. We may get flagged, but I'll deal with it if I have to. But
blur it in post. But
yeah, well, we're live right now, so we're gonna, we'll have to deal with that. But yeah, as far as this goes, This one did not do well. The second one is the one I like the most because it added Dustin Hoffman and Barbara Streisand, which I thought really worked well off of Blythe Danner and Robert De Niro. This one was just like unnecessary. It was kind of like a reunion, you know?
Right, and that's sad because this is the Hanukkah movie
Yeah,
of the trilogy. So it's
yeah.
like it's almost like a forethought that they went ahead and decided to go like the other way for the third one, and the third
These
one
are,
is probably gets the least views and the least respect.
it's funny. These are all pretty much shoehorned, they're not really Hanukkah movies so much as movies that
With the
take
exception
place
of
on
maybe
Hanukkah.
Hebrew Hammer, that's like right in the line.
Or Eight Crazy Nights.
Oh,
I'll
wait,
give you
Crazy
that one.
Nights, yes.
But a lot of these are just like movies that happen to take place. And it's like, we had the script for a Christmas movie. Let's pull out Christmas, throw in Hanukkah. Mazel tov, we have a film. Okay, here's one. Hitched for the holidays. A commitment-phobic bachelor goes online in an attempt to fulfill his grandmother's dying wish to see him find a partner. There he meets another Jewish single, New Yorker, trying to appease her family by appearing to be coupled up. The pair agree to pretend they're together through Christmas and Hanukkah with their families. Spoiler, romance ensues. Again, you could just pull the crap right out of Hanukkah in this, and suddenly you have a Hallmark movie.
Actually, isn't that the movie where Melissa Joan Hart kidnaps Mario Lopez and like takes him as the boyfriend for the weekend? Holiday in Handcuffs.
There was one, yes.
It sounds like
Yes,
that.
dude, it was on here. I recognized it because I looked at that and thought, oh, Mario Lopez. I could see him doing Hollywood. Mario Lopez is one of the weirdest working actors in Hollywood after Saved by the Bell
Whereas,
because he just shows up in freaking
hold
everything.
on, this movie isn't that Joey Lawrence?
Is it?
Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. Hitch.
Yeah, it's Joey Lawrence. Oh my God, that is Joey Lawrence.
Yeah, it is.
And Emily Hampshire. Oh, Mary Lou Henner's in this one too. Okay, remember her from Taxi, Evening Shade, and more of it.
Yes. I remember her probably best from Johnny Dangerously, but
also Emily Hampshire, the female lead on this, she was also the one character that was basically Patrick's best friend in SCHITT. How can you get around it? Schitt's Creek.
yes.
Coming back to that was the character that was he slept with her once, and then she ran the hotel with Eugene.
Yeah, she was at the counter. I remember.
Dude, I love that too. I love that series. That series was freaking awesome. I'm not gonna lie, I cried at that ending.
Now here's the thing. We're talking about two Jewish single New Yorkers trying to appease their families to get through the holidays. What's in the background? The Christmas tree.
Oh God. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even see that.
It's like, come on.
Oh, dude. It's like, are you even trying, movie?
I guess because they said holidays, they're just like, we can expand it a few more days. Put Hanukkah in there.
Dude, can you put a dreidel in the back? Dude, it's real easy to just, do
a menorah,
Google search.
just a menorah.
Menorah vector.
Put the cap on him or something.
Just drop it right in there. Problem solved.
Something. Oh, dress them in blue. What? Geez. Put in some effort.
These are the good housekeeping 15 best Hanukkah movies. And there's a Christmas tree back on one of them.
Well, no, here's the problem. These probably are the best ones for Hanukkah to watch during the holidays. But even then, the movies themselves see Hanukkah as an afterthought when it really shouldn't be.
Yeah, like I said, so many of these, with the exception of like Hebrew Hammer or Eight Crazy Nights, you can easily swap out Hanukkah, drop in Christmas, and then bam, you got that movie.
But see, that's the two parallels. It's either you're doing so little Hanukkah that it might as well be a Christmas movie, or you're leaning so hard into Hanukkah that you're using all the Jewish stereotypes and shtick for comedy, rather than it being like anything sentimental.
But see, Adam Goldberg, Adam Sandler, both Adams, they are Jewish and they do celebrate, their Jewish heritage. So I can see that. These feel like basically forced executives were like, you know what? We need to make a movie that's not Christmas. You want to do Hanukkah or Kwanzaa? Yeah. Hanukkah, cool, sold. Let's get Chinese. And that's pretty much how
it's like, this is what Hallmark considers diversity.
Yeah. Again, two attractive white people from TV shows from the 90s to 2000s. What did I say in the Hallmark episode a couple weeks ago? That is literally all it is. Attractive white people from TV shows you recognized 20 or 30 years ago, now in a movie.
Oh, let's go to number 8.
Please. Okay,
Please.
this I will count because Seth Rogen's Jewish also, you know, and I also stood in for Seth Rogen on one day of this too. Um,
Oh, you were standing on this one.
I stood in for Seth Rogen one day because as a stand-in, my type is usually chubby white dudes. Correction, chubby pasty white dudes. Seth Rogen, in this case, Michael Chernus on Severance. One of the Lee Dixon on Orange is the New Black. Donald Logue. All these are just pasty white guys. That's my thing. So
So you're
anyway,
saying
this one I
you
can
type.
yeah. What's that?
You're saying you have a type.
Dude, I freaking do. But you know what? It gives me health insurance, so screw it. I'll take it. But yeah, the night before, I remember this one because, it is Jewish-ish centered. I mean, it centers around Christmas to a degree, but
Well, I mean, they're all going to the biggest party of the season in New York, the Nutcracker Ball, which
yeah,
unfortunately doesn't exist. But I do remember this movie because I was
Mhm.
working at AMC when this thing came out in theaters. So I remember seeing clips here and there, and it's pretty much your standard, like, sophomoric, weed-oriented kind of comedy, the kind of thing you'd expect from Seth Rogen.
Pretty
Um,
much, yeah.
and the fact that he's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Anthony Mackie in there is pretty much just to mix it up. They all have their little individual stories. Funny enough, you also have Michael Shannon in this movie as a drug dealer,
Yes,
mythical
that is
drug
true.
dealer.
Before was that before or after he got his neck broken by Superman?
Um, I want to say after.
Okay,
It's
I,
been
I,
a
I feel
while
I
since I've
feel like that
seen
was 2013.
Man of
2013.
Steel. Yeah,
I did
yeah.
a
So it'd
video
be
on
after.
YouTube.
It'd be after.
Okay,
So for all I
because
know, the drugs are medicinal, but
okay,
it's funny a lot of like the stunt casting that you get in stuff like this, because this is one of those movies where it's like everybody knows everybody and they're just bringing them all together to have some fun. So I mean, this is definitely
basically, yeah.
a fun movie. Maybe not the most Hanukkah oriented, but if you need something that's gonna like, you know, kind of like ride the tightrope between the holidays, considering the holidays itself actually does blend from this coming Sunday to the 26th.
hmm
Something to watch. This one I would definitely recommend.
Okay. Also, part of my thing with that is actually it was one of my bigger regrets. I missed the opportunity to talk to Seth Rogen about the Tommy Wiseau The Room movie that he was supposed to do with James Franco.
Oh, the disaster artist.
Yeah, because he was just starting out in pre-production. Nobody knew what the disaster artist of Tommy Wiseau was, and very few people knew he was doing a movie. But in public, I missed the window of opportunity when I was standing on the lunch line with him to ask him about that movie, and I was like, "Damn it, I missed." It was a window. There's certain windows you're like, "Damn it, I wish I thought I was smarter about this." But anyway,
See,
moving on.
if only you had like a blunt rolled up ready for it, you could have gotten him aside for 20, 50 minutes.
Yeah, right. So listen, who knows what's going to happen if I said something? Probably nothing. But okay, Five All American. Yes, I mean that's a childhood aspect for a lot of us, and there was a few American Tail movies too, Goes West included.
Right, but this one definitely centered more on like the immigration aspect and the
Yeah.
fact that the Mouskowitzes are Jewish Russian mice,
Mhm.
escaping the tyranny of their homeland with the cats and everything, coming to America. Not a lot Hanukkah oriented, but there's definitely at least notes of like, as opposed to the sequels where you see Feifel and the family and there's like a certain connection, a family orientation with like,
Mhm.
the Jewish people. And weird to say, considering what goes on in the movie and what Fievel has to deal with, and what they construct with the cats and all the mice in the city and all this sort of stuff. So I mean, the message can definitely get away from you. But
Mhm.
at the heart, if you're going to have like something animated for the kids, that's probably your best bet.
I think so, and it's a safe bet on that one. And it's feel good, and being an '80s kid, '90s kid, I remember this one hardcore. Every kid
Yeah.
does.
Plus that song somewhere out there, it always
Yes,
hits.
this one, however, I don't think anybody remembers.
Double Holiday.
Yes,
Okay, this is an
Hallmark Channel,
official Hallmark channel because it says
dude.
Hallmark
Hallmark
Channel.
Channel's much touted Hanukkah movie is also
If there was
Hanukkah
one,
Christmas.
this is the premiere one.
Yeah, well, they announced in 2019. It's like we're doing Hanukkah movies too because we care. In the movie, a hard-charging career woman gets a promotion opportunity that dashes her Hanukkah plans. The boss asks her, as well as the main competition for the promotion, to work together on the office Christmas party to demonstrate cooperation and flexibility. So, yeah, basically just to sell the same damn thing.
I mean, at least they're really trying to like push the idea that it is like partially a Hanukkah movie, not solely, but at least partially. It's like equal parts in a
I feel
sense.
kind of bad for the writer of this article because it's like, all right, so I got 8 crazy nights, come up with 14 more. you know, I feel like this is one of those articles where you're just stuck and you don't know what the blaze is to do with it.
Yeah, but I mean, and even here, it's like I don't know many of the actors. I do know Carly Pope, the
Yeah.
female lead. She's done some work on shows like Popular and what was the one that? Oh, she's currently on Quantum Leap. I know she was just on an episode of that.
Okay.
Pretty Little Liars. There's a lot of television
Yeah.
stuff.
She was also in Orange County, the movie.
Arrow. She was in Arrow as a
She was?
reporter. Yes.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, Carly Pope. I always like whatever she does. It's just you need more than this, Hallmark.
Dude, it's a paycheck. It's health insurance. The same stuff I talk about all the time.
It almost kind of makes me wonder. At the end of the movie, does
Mhm.
someone win out? Does one win over the other, or is it just split down the middle the whole time?
I would say it probably leans more towards Christmas at the end. But, they share a kiss. They show how much you love and then roll its problem solved.
Yeah.
Fiddler on the Roof. Okay, that's more classic than anything. Is it Hanukkah? Yeah, it's a movie to watch. Hanukkah, maybe, but
Right. Well, I mean, when you're talking about stuff about Christmas musicals, like White Christmas, or um, anything from like the older era of Hollywood, even stuff like Ten Commandments when they play it during Easter time. There's always like the super religious holiday movies that come out, and you know, this is probably the closest that they might have as far as like something musical, something familiar.
well,
If
this is
I
a
was a
classic.
rich man, everyone has heard the music of this, classic, but
If I were a rich man,
does it really have anything to do with Hanukkah per se? No. Does it have
no.
to do with the plight of Jewish people? Absolutely. But I don't know if it's necessarily the most upbringing thing for the holidays. That's the thing.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, the whole thing is basically the candle oil last nights. That's there you go. The American.
Speaking of Seth Rogen again,
Yeah, this feels dark. I'm not actually. It's funny, poignant, and actually deep fair. Okay, but he stars as both Ben and Herschel Greenbaum. Not specifically like a movie per se, which means again they just had to Google, give me Jewish movies. But it's funny, poignant, actually kind of deep fair. It's
yeah, and
originally
now
available
I
on
don't even
HBO.
know if you can see it on HBO Max because when they were doing the cuts, this was one of the first originals that was taken off of HBO Max so that they didn't have to pay the residuals.
Yeah.
And mind you, this was HBO Max's first original film. This was the first one made for the platform. Much in
Dude,
the same way Love Life was its first original series.
can I just point out that weirdly enough, a lot of things that aren't studios are doing movies now. Kroger has a movie. The supermarket chain has a movie now.
About what?
I don't know. I've seen commercials and ads for it. It looks. Imagine basically CGI Duplo, you know, but like they meant to be a serious film about some old guy who's, mourning the loss of his wife.
Wow, that's from Kroger.
Yeah, yeah. It's a holiday film called "Today's Holiday Moments Are Tomorrow's Memories."
Jeez, they put more thought into that title than some of these Hanukkah movies, man. Come on. That's
I was like,
bad. Jeez.
Sacha Baron Cohen is like, dude, I'm gonna have to top that.
Oh my god. But yeah, as far as American Pickle, I mean, if you like Seth Rogen and you want to see him be both funny and dramatic, if you
Mhm.
can find the movie, that's certainly something to watch. What's
So
number 13?
there's a torrent of options, I'm sure. To quote Weird Al, crossing Delancey, a single woman in New York is consumed by a bookshop where she works and the intellectual community that swirls around it. But her grandmother isn't exactly satisfied with this lifestyle for her granddaughter, so she enlists the service of a Jewish matchmaker. Okay. Enter a potential suitor who's a working class Jewish pickle vendor vying for her attention against another suitor who's decidedly not these things.
Played by Peter Reigert from Animal House
Okay.
and Amy Irving.
Yeah.
I forget what Amy Irving was from. Carrie.
David Hyde Pierce is in this too. He was Niles in Frasier. Okay, she was
So,
in Traffic. She was in the original Carrie from 1976.
so Rosemary,
Faye
yes,
Grant.
Rosemary Harris, right.
Faye Grant, I recognize that name from V, I think it was.
Reggie
Glenda was in
Cathy, all
Swing.
right, as a cab driver. Jeez. I mean, I know it's 98 and, not a lot was going on back then, but geez, boy.
Yeah. All right, home stretch. And number 14, A Serious Man. If you're a fan of the Coen brothers style of filmmaking, here's your dark Hanukkah movie. It focuses on a Jewish
Wait a
physics
minute, what
lecturer.
wasn't Fiddler on the Roof the dark Hanukkah movie?
Well, apparently this might be. The lecturer in the 60s is a very serious man. He's also in the midst of a tangle of utterly messed up life circumstances and seeks advice from rabbis to help steer him. Okay. I don't know if it's necessarily Hanukkah based on that description, but it's definitely Jewish. It's not like a Christmas special where they're just like, a character who happens to be and born on during Hanukkah.
That's. I mean, I've heard good things about A Serious Man, like critically, but
Mhm.
again, if you're trying to sit down and watch something for the holidays with your
Yeah.
family, or even just to entertain yourself after you've had dinner, are you gonna put on A Serious Man?
Also has Richard Kind in there, who's pretty much in everything in New York City these days. George Weiner, I recognize that name from like Soap in the 1970s. And then Michael Stunberg is your main guy. He was in Shape of Water, Boardwalk Empire. Okay, he did 48 episodes of that. So okay, he's got a decent resume. Good on him.
Yeah, no, I'm sure the acting's great. It's just
Yeah. 6.9 on IMDb, by the way.
right.
And then oh god. Oh,
What is it? What is it?
number 15, Holiday Date. Oops. This Channel Hanukkah movie is kind of about Christmas, but
Like all of them.
but suspend your disbelief and enjoy. A woman gets dumped right before Christmas and enlists an actor to play her boyfriend for the holidays. But he turned Jewish, which isn't exactly what her family was expecting.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
It's like, are you even trying Good Housekeeping? My God. Let's see. So
No, here's the problem. I'm pretty sure they tried as humanly possible to find movies.
dude, I feel really bad for whoever's writer
This
is.
is probably the best that you can get.
Dude, it's like trying to find Kwanzaa movies. It's just like, who's it? Oh yeah.
I mean, okay, if we're going by this, sort of feeling and everything,
Oh, this
that
article's from today too. Holy crap! You just saw this, dude. I didn't
yeah,
realize this. I didn't realize this article came out today.
it's like they tried so hard. They really did.
Alessandro,
I'll give them
I give you
credit.
props on this for for the effort that you had to go through with something like this. Dear God. By the way, the
I will
dad on
say
this,
there's maybe one other movie that I could probably throw in there that I just personally enjoy watching, and you know, it's not necessarily a Hanukkah movie, but as far as like a Jewish movie and everything,
Mhm.
it does play up pretty well,
Okay.
and that's Keeping the Faith.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so that's Edward Norton, Ben Stiller, and what's her face from Dharma and Greg.
Jenna Elfman.
Yeah, there you go.
So
and it's about like Norton and Stiller.
Norton,
They play a priest and a rabbi respectively, friends growing up
I
who both
remember something about that. Yes.
yeah, they both grew up as kids. They both learned about each other's sex and everything. But then their third friend comes back home, kind of like how you find in like an anime when it's like you have the kid, female best friend, they move away and then they come back into your life all grown up and you're attracted to them. So
Hmm.
they both love him, but unfortunately, she's not Jewish, so it becomes a problem for Ben Stiller. And Edward Norton is a priest, so he can't even do anything with a woman, and that becomes a problem. And it's like there's conflicting emotions when they both find out they both like her.
And comedy ensues.
Right. And it's a fun little movie. I will say, spoiler alert, the Jewish guy is the one that gets the girl. So,
I can see Ben Stiller getting, yeah,
because he's the one that, for him, it's all political. Because, God forbid, if he wasn't married to a Jewish girl, he wouldn't end up becoming head rabbi of the synagogue. But
exactly, yes.
because, he's able to work his magic and he
But
shows
Shiksa
his
appeal, man.
appreciation for her,
You know,
it's
Shiksa.
very heartwarming in that sense that you're able to go against, protocol and be able to still get
Well,
what you want.
there is something in the Jewish community called Shiksa appeal, where they get attracted to uh, women that are not, in fact, Jewish. It's like a forbidden fruit kind of thing almost. It's called Shiksa appeal. It really is a thing. So,
I can understand that.
yeah. So in this case, again, coming back to Ben Stiller, having seen him yesterday, seeing him again tomorrow. I don't know what year this was, but it's like, dude, how many? It's bizarre when you look at somebody years after they did a film like this. I
I
mean,
can
Edward
get that. I
Norton.
can get that.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of Edward Norton with blonde hair, though. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, no, he looks a little bit too Mormon for my taste. It's like
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. But so as we just ran through basically the entire hour right now.
dude, I mean, well,
Oh my
as
god,
controversial as
dude.
some of those movies are. So
Yeah.
we probably should end. Unfortunately, Davion hasn't shown up, but we probably should end it on the big news of today, which is the trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse
Yes.
Part One. So there is going to be a second movie within this particular storyline, and as far as the first trailer goes, it's it's fine. Obviously, it didn't
Doesn't show
allude to
you
a
much though.
lot. You didn't really see any of the noted villains that they talked about in the film. You pretty much just got a sense of like this is going to be a much grander scope.
Hmm.
The first minute of the trailer reflects on the first movie. It's just pretty much like a best clips sort of still from the first film with Miles' mom talking to him. And then when she gives the line, it's like, don't let anybody tell you that you don't belong wherever you want to be. And then you see like
Hmm.
this whole plethora of just Spider-Mans. Like,
Yep. The amount that was in that too, and I was trying to actually pull up a snapshot of an image of it, but I wasn't able to.
well, the thing is, a lot of them just look like palette swaps. All right, I
Mhm.
don't think we're going to be diving deep into Spider-Verse lore, where we're going to see a lot of the versions from the comics, or at least get integrated with them. I did see Bagman, which I
Okay.
found funny. Which, for those of you who don't know, there was a time that Spider-Man was part of the Fantastic Four, but
Hmm.
for one reason or another, he couldn't show himself as Spider-Man, so he pretty much just wore a Fantastic Four outfit and wore a paper bag over his head.
Well, that works, I think.
Because comics.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's yeah. I mean, listen, if
But
if
yeah,
glasses
it looks
work for
like
Clark Kent,
Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, who we saw at the end of the first movie, who is still being
mhm.
voiced by Moon Knight himself, Oscar Isaac.
Yes, he's back in
Um,
this,
he looks to be a little bit of like anti-hero-ish, or maybe a little gatekeepery, I
which
guess.
ties into the line in there. Aren't we supposed to be the heroes? We are.
Yeah, well, he
So
says
it,
we are, but
yeah. So it's almost like basically he made against. I don't know. It's early to say, but
well, I mean, just based on that and what Miles's mom says, it almost kind of feels like there's something about Miles that may be a little bit of an anomaly,
hmm.
you know, and maybe that becomes part of the problem. Maybe he's like a Spider-Man that shouldn't be a Spider-Man for some reason. Maybe he's too different or anything. Maybe it's too much of a standout, which considering his, overall origin and his placement in the MCU, it does play into his character and his feeling of, being good enough to hold the Spider name. So it might be like another proving himself, not just to himself, but now to others. Just because anybody can put on the mask, it may be one of those things where people are saying, yeah, anybody can wear the mask. Doesn't mean you should.
It
It might
didn't
have that
stop
kind of
the
like
characters in the
greedy
CW, in the
undertone.
Arrowverse.
I
Dude,
like it.
in the
I like the thematics of it. Unfortunately, we haven't seen anything with the Spot, who's going to be the main villain. Jason Schwartzman voicing him. We haven't seen anything with the Vulture, who is supposed to be another Spider-Man villain that's supposed to pop up in this. Really, we're just seeing Spider-Man versus Spider-Man, which is fun in itself. And I'm sure that's probably going to be part of the reason that it leads into a part 2. So it's going to be like something's going to be Spider-Man versus Miles, and then all the Spider-Man plus Miles, maybe versus the Spot. Maybe we'll see like one origin story of the Spot in this sense.
Well, the first one was kind of a sleeper hit. I don't think people really expected it to do nearly as well as it did. So when it pulled off the numbers that it did, I mean, obviously a sequel was guaranteed, but it also kind of showed, especially if you look at this, if you look at this one and say No Way Home, which were predominantly very heavily Sony movies, it's showing that they can handle the MCU in a lot of ways better than Disney and Marvel can, because you're seeing stuff that is high. There's a certain niche to it. It's not being used necessarily to set up the next thing. Black Panther setting up Ironheart, where it's just promotion for the next product.
Right. It's pretty much just continuing the storyline, and whether or not it's going to be a proper sequel where it takes what the first movie gives you and enhances it, which it looks like it's going to do that to some degree. We won't know until we probably get a second trailer and we get a little bit more of like the action and the animation, the themes and the characters. We've already seen Miguel O'Hara. We've seen Jessica Drew, who they've done up pretty much more like a Spider Woman meets Misty Knight sort of feel. I like the vibe of her, voiced by Issa Rae, so she'll be nice and quirky and funny. And yeah, I mean, you still got the old classics coming back. You got Peter B. Parker, so you've got Jake Johnson, you've got uh, Spider Gwen. I guess Spider Gwen or Spider Girl. I don't know exactly if they gave her a name in the movie.
And then, of course, at the end of it, the other Peter Parker reunites with his, with Mary Jane and his kids.
Right. It'll be a question of whether or not we get cameos from the other Peters that we saw in the first movie, or if it's all going to be new Spider-Man.
This is a cameo society right now. It's about just dropping as much as you can, and having people be like,
I want Nick Cage's Spider-Man Noir back in there. I want that.
Dude, they will. If Space Jam 2 taught us anything, it's how much content can you drop in there. And that, unfortunately, is kind of how it goes now. And I even blame Marvel to a slight degree because of the fact that they would shoehorn various things in. Granted, it was smart because it was building towards something. I watched a video the other day, so we got to pretty much wrap this up, that part of the problem with Phase 4 is that it was never interlocked for a grand villain. And there was just, everything was independent. Eternals was independent. Shang-Chi was pretty much independent.
Well, because that was the multiverse. It was spreading out. It was spreading.
But part of the problem that actually happened there is it was the first phase that kind of didn't have interconnectivity between all of the characters.
Or if there wasn't any interconnectivity, it was across media brands where some people maybe didn't have access to others. So it's like it made things confusing. Here, at least, it's a nice straight through line. Whether or not we're going to get like Tom Holland or anyone else outside of the cast that's been mentioned, I don't know. But it looks like to be fun. And that's all you can really ask for, a part 1 of a sequel.
Exactly. So anyway, we're going to wrap this up right now. I was going to say this real quick. Congratulations, Vanna White. You've just passed 40 years as the official host of Wheel of Fortune. Kudos on that. We are also going to be talking Avatar Way of Water next week because that movie has to pull $2 billion to just break even.
Technically 800 million, but still a lot.
Well, James Cameron's numbers was $2 billion, so I'm going off of that. Anyway, I'm Scott. That's Ryan. Thanks as always. Take care. Stay awesome.